Hi folks, I know I probably don't sound too good at the moment. I have a cold that I've had for nearly about a week, and it won't fucking go away, so, if I start sniffing and coughing and God knows what else, I apologize, but a cold shouldn't be enough to keep somebody down. But today I'm going to be doing a response to the 5 Awesome Transformers guys, yet again, in this interesting topic of Shellformers. Now, a lot of people ask, what is a Shellformer? Well, this is mainly just some Transformers toys. A Shellformer is mainly a Transformer that has, bits of plastic or bits of limbs hanging off the various arms and legs. If it's a regular Transformer, it would be like doors or windows or bumpers hanging off the arms or legs. Or if it's a Beast Wars toy, it would be either an arm or foot or an animal head or whatever hanging off the back or whatever. There are some Shellformers that work and there are some that don't. I can't really think of any that don't work because some of them have actually been pretty good. I can't think of any that I have, since there really are quite a few that I have in my collection. But the video is mainly just to talk about the 4 of my favourite ones, which I would consider good. So I'm mainly going to be talking about those, and I'll expand as far beyond that as I can go. The first one, I know that Drew, aka Juicefer XXX, already talked about this toy, but I figured I might as well give it my 2 cents really, because it's a really good toy. Revenge of the Fallen Brawn, an obvious Shellformer. Now, Revenge of the Fallen, shit movie, semi-decent toy line, even though 99% of the toys were mainly toys taken from the '07 line. But some of them are actually pretty good. Brawn is a very good example of a great toy in its design. Now, of course the design itself is mainly a homage to the original Brawn with the colours and all that. And of course the head sculpt is impressive. But the Shellformer is, of course, one thing as well is that the Shellformer is the loose pieces hanging off the arms and legs or whatever are a valuable part of the transformation to help make the alt mode good. And with Brawn, if you can see on the back, it has this big sort of these big parts, which are mainly the doors for the alt mode. They are quite obvious in the robot mode, so they have a good place. And of course, on the sides, on the doors, you'll see a lot of the pieces that become the alt mode as well. And on the legs, you'll see a lot of pieces as well. But this is an example of a good Shellformer. It works really well. And of course, if you took away all the pieces that help make this toy good, you'd essentially have pretty much a naked Transformer, and it would lack an alt mode if it didn't have the parts the shell-forming parts to help make it good, to help make it stand out. But but aside from that though, this toy is really good. I really like this toy a lot. A lot of people have a lot of problems with this toy, but I don't. I think it's a good toy, and plus we've needed a good Brawn toy for a while. So Revenge of the Fallen Brawn, excellent toy. Second one as well, which is probably my favourite as well, which it works in a lot of ways. Alternators Dead End. Now, the Alternators line is a hit and miss for a lot of people. Some of the toys look crap. Wheeljack and Grimlock are good examples of crap alternator toys that don't work. But Dead End is an example of how it works, because 2 reasons. A, which I like this toy, is because it's a Dodge Viper, and Dodge Vipers kick ass. But the colours on this toy are so impressive. It really works very nicely. But aside from that though, this toy is all Shellformer. It's kind of hard to really say why this toy is really good, but look, a backpack, which is the main part of the alt mode. So if you took away that, you'd essentially lose the back part of the alt mode to help make this good. But another thing as well, the doors as well. The doors are mainly all part of the shell, so without them, they can actually hide the robot mode pretty well. On the back as well, I don't want to say roof bumper, because that's what it pretty much is. It's a roof bumper, and it's a pretty good one. But aside from that though, other pieces of this toy are mainly which make this toy a Shellformer, but it's also a really good toy. And I'm a fan of the Alternators toys, and this toy itself is really impressive. So I would have to say the Dead End itself is a really good Shellformer. It works in a lot of ways, and I wouldn't say that this toy has any detail, because the Alternators toys are well known for having realistic detail because they're based off of real cars. But they work in a lot of ways. So, Alternator Dead End, excellent toy. Now, third one, which is a really good toy in comparison to so many of the other Shellformers that exist. Beast Wars Depth Charge. Now, the Beast Wars toy line is, of course, it's a hit and miss for a lot of people. I know that a lot of people feel very mixed about Beast Wars so many ways, but the toys, of course, when the toy line first started out, it didn't turn out as great as it should have been because there were toys that were crap and there were some that were good. The crappiest I can think would be Beast Wars Rhinox hidden somewhere in that lot. I don't like that toy. I wish it could be better, but it's not. But the Transmetals concept, around the end of the 90s, when the Transmetals concept was being thrown out, it was a really good concept, and it worked so well. It worked so well for the toy line, but... So how to take the toy line, add a different concept to it, like the Transmetals concept, and make it so that it works. Depth Charge is an example of a good shell-forming toy, which... This toy is pretty much a holy grail after a lot of people, but... Aside from that, though, the colours aside, the colours, the detail, how well designed and how well sculpted some of the limbs and some of the pieces for this toy are, but mainly this toy is all shell. It's all just shell. But like these wings which are a valuable part of the transformation, they become the wings for the third mode, and they become a valuable part of the alt mode to help make this toy become the manta ray, and of course. The roof of the beast mode, which of course doesn't really have any purpose in the alt mode, but it sticks out. And of course, don't know if you can see it, the depth charge name right there. But anyway, it's a really good toy. I would recommend this. I would recommend this toy quite a lot. But aside from that, though, being well detailed and being well designed, this toy is really impressive. I like how bendy the wings are. And there are no other ways you can have them, because if you didn't have the wings, then you'd essentially have a Transformers toy without the valuable part of its beast mode. And I think that the wings themselves, are very important to the beast mode in general, because without that, you've essentially just got no Transformer. Because the whole part of transformation is to hide the robot mode. Without the wings, you would essentially just have a crap Transformer. But Depth Charge, really, really, really impressive toy. The Transmetals concept has shown a lot. I would like to see this concept be used again. But Depth Charge is really good. So, fourth one, last one on the list, is an infamous Shellformer that took so long to make, but it turned out being so well. And of course it's Unicron from the Armada toy line. Now, excuse me, Unicron. As we all know, Unicron's toys had a very long and painful history about why it will never get made. If you remember back during the time of the 86 movie, the prototype for the toy, it looked shit. Cause Hasbro were probably wondering, how could we take Unicron, the bad Mamma Jamma, why am I referencing that now? It's 2011. Yeah, the bad Mamma Jamma, the biggest, baddest Transformer alive. How can you take that character and make it into a toy and make it look good without sucking? Well, I'm going to come back to that in a minute, but Shellformer. This toy is all Shellformer because this toy has 4 distinct traits to make this toy a Shellformer, but the wings, of course, have a very valuable part of the transformation. The wings become the ring of the planet because a lot of people will look at Unicron and go, how would the ring look in the robot mode? Because the ring of the planet would be a valuable part of the transformation. So, and a lot of people wondering, where do the wings come from? Well, the wings are mainly the ring of the planet, and that's what makes this toy great. I'm impressed with how well designed this looks. And another thing as well, which these pieces, which are the outer shell of the planet mode, aside from being so well detailed and so well painted and so well sculpted in such a lot of ways, that Hasbro had to go balls out and make this toy great. But sorry, I completely forgot what I was talking about. But aside from that, though, this toy is so well designed and shell forming parts. Without these, the toy would be useless. You would essentially have a a crap toy, and these parts help make this toy good. They help hold the toy together. And one thing I will say to end this out is that when you see this toy, when you see Unicron in practice, when you see him all in the full 360 detail, when you see how well detailed he is, when you see how sculpted he is, and when you see how much time and care went into making this toy, and how many years it took to say, we need a Unicron toy, we need to make this toy, we need to make this character a toy. Shell forming big chest cannon. But aside from that though, how do you make this toy, how do you make this character a good toy? And I'll only end up with this. Big, red, glowing eyes. But this toy is pretty much the king of all Shellformers. It's a really, really excellent toy. I can't honestly say that enough, because I would say that this is Hasbro's greatest achievement at making a planet former and succeeding, because next to Primus, this toy is impressive. And I, at some point, do want to get the 2010 Unicron. I don't know why I don't have that toy yet, but... excuse me, I don't know why I don't have that toy yet, probably because it's so expensive, but it's worth every penny if you haven't got it. But aside from that, though, Unicron, such an impressive toy. It's so well designed for a Shellformer, and it works so well. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, Shellformers, they have their place in the Transformers toy line. They work very well. I don't hate them as much, because some of them turn out very good, some of them don't. Rhinox. But I will say that there are some that have earned a place in a lot of people's collection, and they do hold a great distinctive pleasure in being in a lot of people's collections. But the main reason why I would think that some work and some don't is because you have to take a lot of time and a lot of care into making them, and how to design them, and how to make them look, and how to not make them suck. But that's pretty much my 2 cents about it. So, Shellformers, all in all, they are great. They are really good toys. I can't find any reason why nobody would like them. They are very impressive. So, if you don't have any, get Depth Charge, or Brawn, or get Dead End. But mainly, get Unicron. Get Unicron because he is a planet. He is the bad mamma jamma of them all. But the Shellformers, they're great. I like them.